Hi, I'm Sue.
And I'm Mel, and this is Manifesting with Mel and Sue. Today's topic is...
Synchronicities.
Nice. So what are synchronicities, Sue?
So, I think that a lot of people get synchronicities confused with signs.
Mm-hmm.
You see online a lot of times people will comment about angel numbers. That was something that you brought up in an earlier video, and you do see that a lot. I tend not to pay attention to those because I don't really... It's not like I don't believe that they have meaning. I just don't care.
I think it really comes down to if you want to decide if it has, do you want to assign meaning to it or not? So, you and I both, either you don't, and if I see it, I just assign a meaning to whatever I'm affirming for.
Yeah. It is funny, though, because ever since we talked about that, I start to see 1111 a lot now.
Yep.
So I noticed that.
Same.
Yeah. But so synchronicities are kind of like coincidences. So when you have, when you see something that is something that you've been thinking about, that's a great example.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I talked before, for me, it happens on a daily basis. I have a list in my phone of all the synchronicities because it amuses me. But one time I'm driving down the road. I drive a lot. I was driving down the road and I was thinking about this guy, William, that works at one of the restaurants that I go to pretty often. And right as I was thinking about William, I passed William Street, the sign, William Street.
Yes.
So things like that happen to me literally every day.
Exactly.
And now, I don't give a lot of significance to that because I don't feel like it's relevant to anything.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it just shows me that my reality is always reflecting my thoughts.
Exactly. And you're aware of it.
Yeah.
Which is really what it is. So now let me ask you this, and I believe we had talked about this also in a previous video. Do you believe in coincidences?
No, I don't. I think that basically anything that happens, if there's something like that happens, it's because you're thinking about it or because you're aware of it.
Exactly.
Consciousness is our reality. Consciousness is creating our reality, and consciousness is simply awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And so the more mindful and aware that you are, the more you're going to see things like that happen.
Exactly. And I think a great example of that is, for me personally, when I started shopping around for my dream car. Everywhere I looked after that, that's all I saw was... So I just recently, in the last few years, got my dream car, which was a Chevy Traverse. And I love my car. I still, if I think about how fortunate I am, I created this, I did this, and I'll start seeing them everywhere just because I thought that. And when I hadn't previously, I wasn't aware of them, and then I'll see them everywhere.
Yeah.
And so when I was first manifesting getting that car, I saw them everywhere. I'd see hundreds in a week, hundreds, and it was insane.
Yeah. It's pretty cool, and it happens with me with every car that I get to.
Yes.
I think it's a pretty common phenomenon. It's called the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon.
Yes.
So that's pretty well documented. But that's what synchronicities are. It's if you're thinking about something and you see it, it's just it comes in your reality because you're aware of it. Exactly. And you can actually extend that to the bigger concept of everyone is you pushed out. Anytime that I'm going through something and then I see it reflected in my friends, that's an example of everyone is pushed out, but it's also a synchronicity.
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
That's true. That's very true. Do you have any good stories of synchronicities in your life, specifically?
I told you the robot one. That to me was a pretty big one. That was my first mind-blowing one. I have them all the time, not really big ones, and nothing really significant is coming to mind at the moment, but just little things every day. I could tell you, I could bring up the list in my phone. I had some today that happened, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to bother writing it down because it's so commonplace now. What about you? Do you have any while I look at my list?
I feel same thing with you, nothing super significant. It's just every day, if you think of a person, then you start seeing, you said, a road sign, or you hear that name on the radio or the TV, and you see it somewhere. Or I've even had times where I've thought of the people, different people, and they'll contact me. Mm-hmm. So it's been as simple as that.
Yeah.
So I have one friend, our friend Michelle, And every time I think of her and I was like, oh, I haven't talked to her in a while, I'm going to text her. She texts me.
I know. The same
like,
thing happened with me, with her. I was like, oh, I really need to get a hold of Michelle before she texts me. And then she texted me.
Without fail, she's amazing.
Yeah. Hi, Michelle, if you're watching.
Hi, Michelle.
We love you.
We do.
Okay, so here's a couple examples. So I listened to a Seinfeld podcast, and as I was listening to the podcast one day, they said the name George at the same time that I'm looking at a customer's name of mine whose name was George. I was putting chapstick on my lips, and one of the hosts of that podcast talked about an actress was moving her lips as I'm rubbing the chapstick on my lips.
That's awesome.
I was listening to the band The War and Treaty, and they were singing about a bird as I'm looking at a bird logo on a truck.
Nice.
So just things like that. I mean, they're little things. Oh, again, listening to the Seinfeld podcast, they said the phrase "added in post," and as they said that, I'm reading a sign for Post Road.
Oh, nice.
So, like,
I know what that is.
literally happens to me every day, so much that I started making a list of all the examples.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
So do you think that there is any significance to synchronicities?
Yes, I think if you decide that there are, then obviously there are.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just basically reflecting back what you're aware of, what you're thinking of. If, like, for example, you're manifesting something specific. So one of the most popular topics that you will hear in manifesting is an SP, a specific person. So if you're trying to manifest your specific person, you'll get what's called birds before land or synchronicities, different things like that. But basically it's, you'll see their name somewhere. You'll see something that pertains to what you've been affirming for them. Various things like that.
Yes. That definitely happened to me a lot when I was focused on a specific person. I saw his name everywhere. Both first and last name everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was a big one. And I think that the significance would be that it's a sign that your subconscious has been impressed.
Exactly.
With the fact that, like, you know, you are manifesting this person, and it just shows that what you're doing is working.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of times I like to, when I was first manifesting, I would always remind myself that when I would see something, the birds before land, that it was my subconscious's way of showing me that it was on the way. So a lot of times, like, for example, with a car, you see it everywhere and you're like, why don't I have it yet? Why don't I have it yet? And that's just showing you it's on the way. Just like when you see something pertaining to your SP or money or anything, any subject, it's showing you that your subconscious it's being impressed and it's on its way.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, do you have any other things that you would like to add about synchronicities?
I think so. I think that pretty well covered it.
Okay. I do think I had something else that I wanted to say about it, because I know I had another note. And I think that the point that I wanted to make is that we see what we're conscious of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're manifesting, you should be very aware of what you're conscious of most of the time. So if you are, say you're manifesting money, but throughout most of your day, are you thinking about bills that need to be paid and that you can't afford to buy things? Or are you thinking about wealth and having lots of things and all the things that you're going to have with your money? So where you put your focus, where you put your attention is what's going to manifest in your life.
Exactly.
And so that's what you want to be conscious of most of the time.
And don't get discouraged if you feel like you're not there yet. If you realize once you become aware of your thoughts and what you're thinking throughout the day, don't be discouraged if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking in lack, or I'm thinking opposite of what I want. It just takes a little bit of practice, because now that you're aware of it, that's half the battle. Now you're 50% closer to accomplishing what you want. So now you just got to go the rest of the way and retrain your thoughts. And at first it might seem difficult, but it's really not. It's just, again, practice.
Yep, just practice. Perfect. All right, so I think that's it for today. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and comment.
And have a great night. And don't forget to go out and manifest that dream life.